Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Nice to see you. Oh, I couldn't be happier today. I couldn't. Listen, as my dad says, any better, there'd be three of me. Hey, any better, it'd be a runaway. Anyway, nice to see you. My name is Dean. Great to be back, and I'm happy for a bunch of reasons. One, it's just Mondays are great. You get the weekend. I did a ton of spring cleaning. Took care of the garage, which is a pain in the ass. It's been like super nice here in Southern Ontario. So what I was doing in the Greater Toronto area, TO, as they say, the T-dot. So I cleaned out my garage. It was beautiful outside. I enjoyed myself. I cleaned the entire house, got ready for winter. I think they call it nesting, even though I'm not pregnant. We've got a new feature to talk about today called Polidicks. I'm really excited because I hate politics. So we just got a new feature called Polidicks because all we do is talk about politics sometimes. I'm fucking tired of it. So we're going to put it in a can, do it once in a while. Specifically today, that'll be fun. We're going to talk about Britney Spears. Are we allowed to make fun of / pleasure ourselves thinking about the picture she puts out and depending on the state of mind that she's in? I know you've got thoughts.
Yeah.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, back from a month worth of moving. A month. Really gone for like a week and a half. Did yeoman's work. Please welcome back to the show from 957 Cruz FM in Edmonton, host of The Locker Room, my very good friend of yours, Mr. Lochlin Cross.
Thank you. I'm in my new digs.
Yeah.
I'm in the loft.
Yeah.
How's the lighting?
Unbelievable.
Better lighting. Somebody's already commented.
Oh, yeah, dude. Way better. The
Yeah,
acoustics are good. You look great. You got a dog behind you. It looks like you got a patio door. So it's new digs. You moved. You bought a new house and you fucking took some time off and you moved. Good for you. You look great. How do you like it?
Well, it's the moving thing is very stressful, right? Like it is, but we're excited about our new kind of lifestyle change here. So it's kind of been fun, right? It's definitely something that you realize. We were talking earlier, like I have got so much shit. It's not
right.
It's not even funny. And
that's the
I don't
thing
know
is
why.
when you move, it's exciting. But the thing that kind of like, and I've moved, like I haven't moved now for a couple of years, which is great. But you realize how much shit you accumulate when you move, right?
Why do we have all this stuff?
Fucking like, pack rats.
I filled the work dumpster 4 times. And we still filled this house with shit. Like every morning, I was taking loads in the last month. I was taking loads to the dam.
Oh,
so I would fill the Subaru at night, and then at 4 o'clock in the morning when I was trying to pick up Jimmy, and then I'd hit the dumpsters.
Yeah,
and I would just like bomb the dumpsters, and I still filled this house. The wife and I have to have a number of conversations about do we really need this? Because it's ridiculous.
Who's worse? Like when you started chucking stuff out, everybody does. When you move, you start looking around. You're like, you just admitted it. You're the worst. You're worse than her at keeping shit. Are you more sentimental than her about stuff?
I'll tell you a story. She's not around. She's at work.
Smart. She'll never watch this.
No, she won't. We're good.
I know.
So her dad died quite young. Yeah. He had brain cancer and passed away when he was 46 years old. And he was a big outdoors guy, and they loved the Bowen Lakes. They would go there like every couple of years. They would go on like these canoe trips, kayaking trips and stuff. Yeah. And he took a picture of the Bowen Lakes at one point. And Deborah's mother, Diane, took the picture, blew it up, framed it, and we've had that at the house forever. Mm-hmm. Deb told me to throw it out. I'm like, no, we got to keep that. And she's like, no, I can get rid of that. So I waited till she left, and I hid it in all of the boxes and shit, and I have it hidden up here in the corner of my loft. And I don't know how to, she has already parted ways with it mentally. Mm-hmm. Right. But I couldn't let her throw that out. It's just a photograph, but I couldn't let her throw it out.
Are you going to do one of those surprise things where like at Christmas time, you're going to get it framed in a nice frame and you're going to make it look nicer and you're going to give it to her and she's going to start crying Then you might get some extra action on New Year's Day, Christmas Eve, that kind of stuff. Like, is that what this is? Is this a ploy to get laid, or are you just a nice person? There's the question.
No, I couldn't do it. I could not let her throw that out. So, yeah. You
thought it was a bad idea that you throw out her stuff, but did she tell you to throw out your shit? Like, was she giving you the gears about your stuff?
We were pretty simpatico outside of that one picture on what to get rid of, including the CD wall, which I chewed on and sold it and got rid of it all. That's and I literally, I couldn't even look at what I just boxed everything in it. This guy, Jamie, came by and bought it from me. And now he told me I can go over anytime and listen to my CDs with him.
Did he really? He said, if you listen, if you're missing this Dark Side of the Moon double album, you can come on over here and we can listen to get an extra headphone jack.
He got a pretty cool collection, actually. So,
yeah.
And I have a couple of little things like that. I like collection type stuff that I'm also that guy that has a box of cords for stuff.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I was going through them and I don't even know what they're.
I'm the same dude. That's the only thing I keep around are boxes of cords, chargers, AV equipment. Cause you're like, fuck, I don't know how many chargers, like, well, how many, I got 1,800 kids. They all have cords. We need chargers, blocks. These ones work. These ones don't. I've got like a duffel bag full of the shit. And that's something I can't throw out either. Cause my kids are like, hey dad, you know where that wire went? I'm like, it's in the wire bag. Go check.
I will actually pare down because now that I'm up here, this is a pretty tight spot. So I've turned this into a yoga studio / podcast studio, and I'm going to work up here. Like I've got my everything for work up here. And I got my amp for harp, and I got a little TV in the corner here. So, and the dog loves it up here, so he's going to hang out with me, Kingston.
It's a perfect setup. Dude, it's so much better than the CD wall. Yeah, and you look like it looked like a dank basement, and everybody felt sorry for. Yeah, it looked like in jail almost. Looked like you're in like a jail library.
Just the light up here is just way better.
Way better.
Like
you look awesome. No, you look great, and you had like how much time did you take off? You took like I took Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. You took today off work. Locke, by the way, the host of the morning show at 957 Cruz FM in Edmonton. You took today off as well.
I did. And then I'm going back to, I wish I had taken the whole week off because we still haven't even set up. We're functioning, right? Like we've got to that point where we can we got the kitchen set up. We got our clothes set up. We got the bathroom set up. And then, in our office, I got to set up Deb's office because she's going to have to work from home at some point too. So that'll probably be a weekend project.
Have you shit in every toilet yet?
I haven't shit in the guest room toilet yet. Oh, hold on. I haven't had a dump up here yet.
Oh, dude.
That's 2 toilets. I shit in I took a dump in the sweet shitter when we were touring the place. I had to take a shit. And so when they went to look upstairs, I snuck in there. So before we even bought the place, I took a dump in the suite in the basement, which we're using to offset the mortgage, right? If we can find a renter. By the way, if anybody wants to move to Belgravia, I've got a suite for rent.
Yeah,
it's all brand new.
He's an easy landlord. Yeah, as long as you do everything he says and you don't get in his way and you never annoy him, you're gonna fucking love him as a landlord. Did I ever tell you about the time I went to a show home and took a dump in a toilet with no water? Ever tell you about that?
No.
Oh yeah. The same thing. But yours has water, right? Like the running water was working in the. So we went to this thing. You know who Debbie Travis is? Maybe Debbie Travis, Debbie Travis. Debbie? Yeah, Debbie Travis. She's like an artist show home British lady. She was all across Canada for a long period of time. She had some show home she was putting up, where we ended up moving that, 20 years ago. So we go into the show home, and I had a specifically heavy night of drinking the night before. My ex-wife and I are like, she's dragging me around. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. I'm like, I don't feel good. I don't want to be here. I need like 6 Caesars. Just let me go and fucking figure this out. She's like, we're going to go through the show home. So I'm like, all right, here we go. Debbie Travis show home. Walk in. So the lady's like, hey, this is the Debbie Travis show home. You get these things. I'm like, that's great. Where's the bathroom? She's like, upstairs. 3 well-appointed bathrooms. You love it. So I walked into the bathroom, furthest away from the stairs.
Was there toilet paper?
I sit down and do my business. There's like a fresh roll of toilet paper that hadn't even been unwrapped yet. I'm like, oh, excellent. Lots of toilet paper. So I unwrap it, do my business, clean up, put everything in go to flush the toilet, flush. Nothing. Nothing. I take the tank off, no water. It's a show home. They haven't even started the plumbing yet. They haven't even fucking hooked up the plumbing. No plumbing. And I had a lot of wings the night before. Like a lot of wings. The night before. Suicide as well. I can't eat just bunk wings. I got to have suicide wings. And my ex-wife now is like, oh, Dean, are you upstairs? I'm like, yeah, I'll be down in a second. So also there was a ribbon on top of the toilet. And I thought it was just like a surprise ribbon. So I took the ribbon off. Apparently the ribbon meant you're not supposed to take a shit or a piss in the toilet. It's like it's supposed to tell everybody it's not working. And I just ignored it because I really had to go to the bathroom. So anyway, there I am. There's a toilet full of stuff. And I'm like, we got to go. So I go downstairs. I say to my ex-wife, we got to go. Lady's like, can I have your name and phone number? Because you're like, yeah. There's like, can we have your name and phone number? We'll call you and let you know if we can work out a deal. That'd be great. And I'm like, I don't like this place that much. She's like, why not? I go, the bathroom's no good. She's like, what are you talking about? I go, there's no running water upstairs in the bathroom. She goes, well, it's a show home. There is no running water. I go, well, you're going to have a terrible day then. Have a nice time. And I walked out with my ex-wife. And about an hour and a half later, what I didn't realize is that my ex-wife gave this woman our phone number. My phone rings. She gave her my phone number. And she's like, yeah, thanks for the gift you left in the upstairs bathroom. Really appreciated that. Would you mind coming by and dealing with that for us? Thank you very much. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming back. You're going to have to figure that out. Have a great day. Boom. Hung up the phone. Still one of the most nervous moments of my entire life because I realized what I had just done. But it wasn't really my fault. They just should have had plumbing working in that show home. That's all. That's my thing.
I think it should be mandatory because I shit in about 5 homes that we saw.
Yeah.
Like we were on a tear through the city, right? And I probably out of the 25 homes we saw, I shit in 5 of them.
What, are you not supposed to take dumps in homes when you go there? Like that's what they're there for, right? Like, and she yelled at me this morning. Yelled at me on the phone. No, I know it's timing because you're nervous. You're in a cramped space. You're like you're looking for a house. The nervous system starts to work. You get the tingle, and then you got to go to the bathroom. It's like it's automatic. Every time we would go look at a house, every time I went to look at a house or had to buy a house, I'm like you. It's like going to IKEA. I have to go to the bathroom. It never fails. I walk into an IKEA. Doesn't matter if I've just voided an hour before that. It's like a poop trigger. Same with Winners. As soon as I walk into
definitely
Winners,
some places that I always want to shit. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know why.
If I go into a McDonald's,
I
always get the urge to shit. I don't know why. It's the colors they use or something.
It's not the colors.
It is. It's the colors. It's the oranges and the yellows or something. I think it makes you hungry and it makes you want to shit. There's science, Dean.
It's not science.
They hire scientists.
Shit up. No, but like I know
what colors to put in there to make people want to go poop.
My ex-girlfriend, every time she went to Costco, she had to shit. She's like, what is it when you go to Costco? You have to take a shit. I'm like, I'm the same at IKEA and Winners. Every time I go, I'm fucked. I walk in there, I just see a big toilet. It's like your bowel is speaking to the building.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Anyway, speaking of shit, time for a new feature called Polidicks, ladies and gentlemen, because we talk about politics all the time. What we thought we'd do is we'd break it down into a segment. Now, Alberta's been a hotbed, by the way. Speaking of shit, Alberta's been a hotbed. You have not been working. Have you been paying attention to your new premier, Danielle Smith? Have you been paying attention to any of this shit?
No. None of it. I've been so consumed. I mean, occasionally I'll sit down with my phone, and ironically, it's usually when I'm on the dumper, and I will have a quick look at Twitter or whatever. But I had no TV. It's actually been quite nice. So for the last week, I've been fairly disconnected. Now, I will say this about where we're at with Alberta.
What was it? By the way, what was that information break like? Was it awesome? Like not paying attention to the news, not having to regurgitate negativity in the morning. Was that fucking great for the past 5 days while you were moving? I would like that.
Yes. I think people need to do that every once in a while. You just need to purge your soul a little bit of the bad news. So I was listening to a lot of podcasts. I was catching up on a couple of things that I haven't listened to in a while. So I was getting, because we had no TV, so I was doing a lot of podcast listening while I was just working. I'd have like headphones in or whatever, but I wasn't catching. I haven't been catching up on the news. Now, when Kenny was ousted, and he was on his way out, a number of times on the locker room, we talked about how we were going to miss him because he's a bit of a content. He's a gift to content creators like us, right? And he's kind of goofy, and you can have some fun with Kenny, right? Like I told you this, I've mentioned this before. Every time we talked about Kenny, I would play the Trailer Park Boys because he looks like Randy's dad. Like he looks exactly like Randy from the Trailer Park Boys. And we called him Randy Jason Kenny. And I was saying to Grant, because he does the Grant report every day, and Kenny would end up being like almost once a week we'd have a Kenny featured Grant report. I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna miss him. And Grant's like, I agree. Danielle Smith, who's this? Can we make fun of her?
Oh yeah.
But I'm telling you now,
dude, if you're looking for content from a premier, she's like a content factory. She can't stop.
It's awesome.
You know, we spent like a year and a half mocking like a guy with a high school diploma or some dude with a business degree that felt like he knew more about virology and epidemiology and infectious disease. Cletus, we used to call him Cletus. We used to call him Terry. Those guys, right? Yes. She's a female Cletus / female Terry. Like, it does not get any better than this. She's been on like such a fucking tear this week. It's been incredible. This one video, speaking of Polidicks, and she is a Polidick, but she's a fucking content factory of Polidicks. Like, she's unbelievable. Two things that happen this week. She truly
believes this stuff.
She's QAnon, dude.
She is full on.
She's full on QAnon.
She's taking Ivermectin. She's the whole everything, all the tropes, everything. Yes. She is all over this.
And she is going to change how Alberta does everything. Case in point, this is one of the videos that came out while you were enjoying your break from information while you were working. That's almost unbelievable. Like, it hits almost every single QAnon trope in the world. I'll play it for you. She's interviewing some hippie some hippie communist guy that works for the Western Standard, fascist guy, works for the Western Standard. I don't know who this guy is. Love his beard, love his hair. Probably a Jesus freak like she is. But my point
is I forget his name, but he's the guy that he got, I believe it's him. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. This is the guy that got caught. He was in the Alberta political scene. He got caught renting out his apartment in Edmonton.
Yeah. Because
they give you an apartment. So while he wasn't in town, he was Airbnb-ing it. He also they also caught this guy. He shot a deer off his back deck. Like literally just outside of town. Yes, I think it's him. I think it's this guy. It's the poacher.
This is him.
I forget his name. Phil DeBrant. Is this?
No idea.
Anyway,
no idea. But here's the video. It's fucking wild. Like, she touches on everything. And if you've watched the show or you understand culture over the past couple of years, I want you to listen very carefully. Where Danielle Smith, who's the premier of the province of Alberta, is like, not only am I not interested in science, I'm going to fire all the doctors. I'm going to bring in people that prescribe ivermectin, because the one thing we're not doing, and I want you to listen for it, we're not listening to experts. Watch this. This is fucking.
Believe that Alberta Health Services is the source of a lot of the problems that we've had. They signed some kind of a partnership with the World Economic Forum right in the middle of the pandemic. We've got to address that. Why in the world do we have anything to do with the World Economic Forum? That's got to end. They also have the scientific committee that, quite frankly, didn't look at the whole broad science. They want to make themselves permanent. I saw that in one of your stories. I don't think so. I don't want to have a scientific committee advising me that isn't prepared to look at therapeutic options in the middle of a pandemic and throw out the pandemic planning plan. And I must point out that I've watched that Event 201, which is a pandemic planning exercise. And the very first thing they say you should do is to find an effective therapeutic so that as you're seeking a vaccine, you're keeping people from dying. So I think that the experts let us down. So I'm not interested in taking any advice from them. We will have new leadership on the board. And I don't mean this to disparage any of the board members. When you put a board in place, you're really putting them in place as kind of a caretaker to maintain institutions. This is not an institution I want to maintain as is. So there will be a removal of that board in the course of time, and probably sooner rather than later, with a reinstatement after we've done our restructuring. So the restructuring is going to come.
We got to get her on. We got to get her. If she's doing the Western Standard. What? I've never even heard of that.
Did you hear her?
Yeah. She's full.
Dude, did you hear what she said?
She's full on ivermectin. Yeah. Well, and again,
100%, dude. The other video that came out this week, I got to play this for you. They are. She's saying that, like, I give her fucking full credit because most people hide their crazy. She's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm out there. I'm crazy. I'm crazy like everybody else. I've been eating horse paste. I don't believe in experts. I believe in me. I believe in Jesus. I believe in church. I don't believe in doctors. I don't believe in vaccines. I believe none of those things because she's literally an alternative fact premier, which means she just believes conspiracy theories. That's what you're going to get for the next 8 months. And another video that came out where she admitted to getting one of the last prescriptions of ivermectin, which is also a lie, but she said she was in the United States taking her ivermectin and she eats it all the time. I am not shitting you. Watch this.
More things. You'll see that there's a box in the back. That is a prescribed drug. That's all I can tell you. It's a prescribed drug. And there are some doctors who will prescribe certain types of drugs. But as you saw, the College of Physicians and Surgeons and the pharmacists basically said that they're going to fire any doctor who dares to prescribe anything for treatment of symptoms. So maybe I got the last prescription in Canada that was available. But here I am in the United States taking an illicit drug. Can you believe it? In Canada, you can take pretty well anything you want. Go to a safe injection site and inject yourself with heroin. And you only break the law if you try to take something that will mitigate against blood clots in the event you get a vaccine. This is the world we live in. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, congratulations. I mean, it had to happen to one province in there first, but that is fucking unbelievable. Your premier is just a fucking full-on QAnon beauty. I love it.
So
love it.
Here's the thing,
if you don't think you're not going to get great content from her, you're crazy.
No, I do. I'm happy about it. I'm thrilled that she's around she's babysitting that role. She won't be here long. She's just, here's the thing, and this is going to drive some people crazy. She has literally paved the way for Premier Nutley to make her reappearance. I mean, right. Rachel's coming back. I've said this before, there's just no way in hell that she's going to win in a general election. And the funny thing is, she's not doing anything. She doesn't even have a seat yet. She hasn't done anything. And all we've talked about is Danielle Smith. Yeah. But all we're talking about is how crazy, how insane she is. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I don't think she's going to be very effective. I think somebody was explaining to me about why a lot of times, it was on a podcast actually, and it was a great explanation as to why you hear people before they actually take over their role as a leader of a party, why there's especially down in the States, they're so crazy. And as soon as they get the job, they switch gears and then they go back to sanity town, right? They go crazy town to appeal to the base and to the people that are putting people in power, because they're all fucking crazy. The people that are putting people in power are nuts. So she completely did that. The beautiful thing about Danielle is she's not switching gears.
No, none.
She's grabbed another one. We're in fifth now. We're flying down the QE2 with her. She's going 125 miles an hour right now.
Yeah.
She's not switching gears at all. And the funny thing is I think she thinks that and somebody else explained her to me on another. She comes from the broadcast side of things.
Yeah.
And I think she was in her silo and she was only talking to people that believed what she believed. And I think that's why she thinks that there is an abundance of those types of people in this province, because there's not. She does not represent Alberta. And I think it's going to be
though. She kind of does. Robbie Furnace
rude.
Joins us from Talking Buds, by the way, but she kind of does. Like, Rob, we're talking about Danielle Smith. We're talking about how funny she's been. And it's fascinating because all I hear from Albertans, like when we posted that story this weekend, it was our biggest story by far. And it was just those videos saying, you guys have like an ivermectin chewing, QAnon spewing
it's awesome.
premier of your province. and like everybody was aghast. Rob, I got to tell you, I was looking forward to it. Like it's one, as a content guy, you're kind of like me though, Rob, right? Like you're like, oh, this is going to be fucking awesome to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As soon as you hit post,
yeah,
just sit back and watch it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because dude, like that's one of the things. As soon as I published that story on her doing that shit this weekend, I was like, this is gonna be huge, right? Because it brought all the dubs out and it brought all the other folks out too. It brought all the winners out and it brought all the losers out. And it was amazing how many people are like, finally someone willing to tell the truth about ivermectin. I'm like, oh my God, she owns a diner in High River. Like she's a waitress, for fuck's sakes. Are you fucking serious right now? Which always makes me laugh. Like, but to that point, I'm not even the least bit offended. And I don't think Albertans should be either, because do you know how much fucking content she's going to provide you, Lochlin, for your morning show at 957cruisefm.ca for the next 8 to 12 months? Fucking, it's going to be brilliant.
That's why I'm thrilled by it. It's spectacular. It really is. It's the only way to look at it. And
right.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing, and I did this, like I went to, actually, I almost sent this tweet. I'm anti-NDP. I've never voted NDP. It's childhood trauma. My stepfather was a big NDPer, so I'll never be able to wrap my head around that party. So, but I like Rachel Notley. Actually, I do like her a lot. She's kind of funny, and she's a bit of a firecracker as well. And I was about to send a tweet that just said, shh, be quiet. Right. But then I was like, you can't really shush somebody that's in the public eye. Right. Plus, she's a woman. Yeah. She probably won't understand it. But my point being is, just sit back. Danielle's doing all the work for you.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine. Just hide in your house for the next year. And then when the election comes around, then pop your head out and go, I'm here. There's an alternative.
I'm not crazy. I don't eat horse dewormer for a respiratory infection. I'm right here, everybody. I like science. I like doctors.
We called a veterinarian store. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Right when ivermectin was a thing, and people were actually buying the paste that you give to the ivermectin's a drug you can get, the pill, right? But it actually is a horse dewormer, and they sell
doctors in Alberta were not. Yeah, but doctors in Alberta across Canada were not allowed because it is not a therapeutic for COVID.
No, it never was.
Bunk therapeutic that a bunch of fucking QAnon losers and people that own shares
doesn't
in
actually
ivermectin
do anything.
Nothing. It just it deworms you. Like it's for scabies, for fuck's sake. Scabies and roundworm. That's why they give it to people. So and it wreaks havoc on your gastrointestinal system. So immediately my thoughts are like, Danielle Smith probably has been farting quite a bit for the past year.
Well, apparently the pill is not that big of a deal. Like if you take the pill, you can and it's such a small dose that they give, that you get from in the pill form from your doctor or from the pharmacy. It doesn't really have, but the paste, apparently, remember we were joking about putting it on a Triscuit and giving it and it's carrot flavored, legit fucking carrot flavored, because horses eat it. People were buying
apple
it.
Flavors too.
they were buying it from the vet stores and they were eating it. And we called the veterinarian store in town here. And they were so angry with us. I'm like, hey, do you have ivermectin in the tube? And is it okay if and you legitimately, here's the thing, after that broke, they sold out. So in order to actually, because it's very effective to deworm a horse. So what they were doing was they were taking it off the shelf. And if you wanted it, you had to go into the veterinarian store and show a picture of you with your horse. They wouldn't fucking sell it to people because people were buying it and taking it home and eating it. Like, no fucking word of a lie. And the guy, I still have the recording.
And it's only made for 2,000-pound horses, by the way. It's not made for a 180-pound dude or a woman.
I didn't know it was carrot flavored.
Yeah, carrot and apple. Yeah. Dean's right. There was an apple flavored one because I was going to get the guy to put a really
happy-looking horse on the tube, and then it had like a couple of apples. It's like now apple flavored, and I'm like, and then there's a sign. I remember there's a warning sign in one vet's thing. It's like, we're not putting this on the shelf because some of you fucking morons keep buying it for human use, and everybody's like,
well, that was actually happening. That was legit happening. That was happening here in Edmonton. The guy that we phoned, but he hung up on us. He goes, "It's not for human consumption." Click, and he hung up. Yeah. We definitely have. We're gonna have
your
some
premiers
fun.
into it, dude. The chick in charge of all the law enforcement, your legal services, all of everything, your whole infrastructure. The chick in charge of all of it, she's into it.
You know what? Awesome. And again, I am anti-warning label. I honestly, I swear to God, I've never been a fan of warning people. If you're dumb enough to do something, it Darwin at its best. So
speaking of dumb enough, I got to get this video in. It's just to finish off our Polidicks thing because I want to get, and that'll help us lean into some sports. We're going to talk Leafs and some hockey with Rob Furnish, who joins us from the Talking Buds podcast. But let me just bring this up. It's not like I hate Ted Cruz, but I fucking hate Ted Cruz. He was at the Yankee game last night. Obviously, the Astros clinched. They're going to the World Series. They did it in the Bronx. Everybody was upset. But Theodore Cruz, the world's walking skin tag, joined the folks at the Yankee Stadium and was just an egregious asshole all night. This is him trying to leave. If you ever... Like, Yankee fans need to start their own cameo thing where you can just hire them to like bring someone to tears, because I've never heard anything like this before in my life. Let's watch it together.
Fuck you racist piece of shit! Fuck you, man! You suck! You fucking suck, dude! You're a disgrace! You go to fucking hell, dude! Remember when Trump called your wife ugly? Remember that? Remember when Trump called your wife ugly and then you nominated him? You're a disgrace to this country. You fucking piece of shit. Remember when those insurrectionists wanted to murder you? Yo, go you vote. Ugly piece of shit. Yo, go vote Trump. Get the fuck out of New York. Get out of New York. Trump called your wife ugly and you loved it. You ugly fuck. Get the fuck out of here. Eat my dick, you asshole. Yo, finally someone's talking to me.
Canadian, eh? He has a Canadian passport too.
Yeah, he's from Calgary too. Yeah. He's from Calgary. He's an Albertan. How fucking money was that? Like, Yankee fans, like, if you've ever run, Block tried to fight a couple of them when we went to a Yankee game this year. And I'm like, you can't fight the Yankee fans. That's why. I mean, psychologically, they don't give a fuck. I've watched a Yankee fan go to Jays fan into punching him in the face, and then laughed when the security guys came and took him out. Didn't give two shits. He was looking forward to it. You can't fight Yankee fans. Yankee fans are like the worst fucking human beings on the planet, and they know it. They're born like that. It's like the second they come out of the chute, they come out screaming, fuck the Mets. Like, it's just an automatic thing, right? That was one of the greatest things you will ever see in your life, by the way.
And they lean into it, too. That's what I love about them. They lean into it.
They're aggressive.
Know. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Dude.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they don't, and it's guttural. And they just got pumped out of the playoffs by the Houston Astros at that point. So it's like Ted Cruz. And if you're Ted Cruz, you're walking around going like, hi, how you doing? Nice to see everybody. It's like he fucking soaked it in too. It was like, I've never seen a guy love abuse more in my entire life. This is the same guy, as you know.
Well, I
Yankee
think
fans. It's the same dude who Donald Trump's like, your wife's a disgusting pig. And he's like, I'm nominating you for president, sir.
You know what? I think he has just gotten used to it. Right. I think it's just the abuse he gets whenever he goes anywhere because of how divisive he is. I think he is just numb to it. And I've seen more than a couple of videos of people going after him in public. And so I think
he gets off on it.
There is a definite difference between public office in Canada. And I know we've got elements of it here, but down in the States, it's, man, they go to your house. Like, they wait for you in the morning when you're, at your favorite coffee place. They're over the top down there. Like, it's crazy. It's hard to watch sometimes. That video it's funny because it's at a Yankees game, and I think everyone sort of just gives the Yankees a Yankees fan a little bit of room. It's New York are aggressive, but this is it's aggressive.
It is so aggressive,
right in his face too, Robbie? Like, you can't give Leaf fans any of this credit. We're the people. We've been so forlorn for so long. Like, second, if Ted Cruz went to a Leaf game, we'd be like, yeah, we suck just as much as you. So
no one would even notice them. You can hear a pin drop in there half the time.
Yeah. Look at that fucking guy.
He
did
Leafs
dude.
games.
It's unbelievable. I've never seen a more masochistic loser in my entire life. Oh, Leaf fans are the worst. That's why Robbie's here. I can't decide, Rob. Rob Furnish joins us from the Talking Buds podcast. You can get it anywhere you get your fine podcast. It's very good. Him and his brother do an unfucking believable job breaking down your Toronto Maple Leafs and, of course, Locke. We're going to talk a little bit about your Edmonton Oilers.
Hold on. Is it the Toronto Maple Leafs, or is it the Canadian team with the best chance of winning the Stanley Cup, according to the Sports Donkeys, all based out of Ontario?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both.
Whenever I reference the Leafs, I like to make sure that we clarify that it's the Canadian team with the best chance of winning the Stanley Cup.
We know. Yeah, we know. We rub it in everybody's faces. But I got to tell you, Rob, I was thinking about you having you on the show today because I want to break down the weekend. I know they had a big Jets win. They had an overtime win. Nick Robertson had a bit of a coming out party. I want to talk about Sheldon Keefe a little bit. But I can't decide. Like, I was thinking about this today. I can't decide if I hate this team. I can't decide if I want them to win. And I can't also decide if I'm just so tired of everything that has anything to do with the Leafs in the city and this country. What are you showing us? I can't see it. What is that?
I'm just showing it. I just followed Robert on Twitter.
Okay,
so,
good.
Thank you.
Robert. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'll tell you why. It's because last year I had this theme in my head for the Leaf season. I had this idea. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stay quiet during the regular season. I'm going to laud a couple of good things. 60-goal season for us. It's a nice thing to laud. I'm not going to be down in the mouth. I'm not going to shit on this team. I'm not going to take anything away from Jack Campbell. He's such a nice guy. I'm just going to watch. And then I'm going to wait for the playoffs. Well, they finish strong, get into the playoffs. You get pumped in the first round again, another 7 games. We've been through all this shit. I don't need to. And this year, I'm like, I need a different state of mind. I can't fucking just like this team and ride or die for this team. And I know that because I watched the first few games, and it's like abysmal. Like, I watched that game against Arizona. They lost to Arizona. They lost to a team with a CFL playoff salary. They lost to a team with a CFL playoff that
playing
plays in a college arena.
In a building with 5,000 seats.
Yeah. So,
I think the thing too is it was another game where they looked totally disinterested from start to finish, and I think that's what makes people so angry. Is it's just the lack of sort of jump, or like they visibly appear to not give a shit. And I don't totally put that on the star players. I kind of put that on, it definitely belongs on the star players, but also on some of the lineup decisions. Like you see in Winnipeg this last Saturday, what happens when you inject some guys into the lineup who can push back a little bit, and what that does to the rest of the team. And even a guy like Morgan Riley standing up for a rookie and Nick Robertson, and what that does to the rest of the team, instead of putting Dennis Malgett in there. and expecting a different result. So I think that's what, for me personally, that's what frustrates me. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, why? Like we're forcing Dennis Malgin into the lineup when you've got a kid in Nick Robertson who's ready to play, ready to make the team. You got a guy in Wayne Simmons who, at this point, and toughness is the huge polarizing word. Like when you were saying earlier, you posted that story and you just sat back and were like, I'm going to watch this thing explode. When we pump out content and we use the T word toughness, we do the same thing. We're like, this is going to start a fight.
People are going to freak out. Yeah. Well, they're pussies.
Yes.
Like, dude, the first 4 games of the season, all I did was watch Austin Matthews get his ass kicked, right? And they keep trotting out Obey Kubel, and they keep trotting out what's the guy's name? Dennis Malgin, and who's the other guy that sat there the other night?
Ashton Reese.
Yeah, that cat. And I'm like, okay, fuck, good for you. But like, you start the season like that, and you've got this forlorn, and that was when I decided, fuck this team. Fuck them. Fuck the Leafs. Not interested in it. And I don't mean fuck it like they're not interested in winning. I mean, like, what are they doing? You know, like I watched Matt Murray start the season. Dude, Matt Murray sucks ass, by the way. Yeah. It's like you can't fucking catch if you can't catch. And he's like 5 goals on his glove side. And I'm like, fuck it. I don't want to see Matt Murray again. He gets injured. And they you know, like all of the storylines that everybody likes to beat up and talk about. I just decided a couple of days ago I'm on Team Lochlin. I'm not interested in the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. And I'm definitely not interested in how they're pounding the Toronto Maple Leafs down people's throats. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to listen to your podcast. And it also doesn't mean that I'm not going to watch the games, but I just can't get into it until we get to the playoffs. I can't.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
I can't go on the emotional roller coaster this year. I've just decided that this weekend.
Well, and that kind of goes to what I was saying earlier. Like when you see more of the same, like taking nights off, that's what happens. And we talked about that, I think, like 2 episodes ago, where it was like,
we got a similar problem in Edmonton.
Yeah, where it's like, here we go again, more of the same. It's like they're going to make the playoffs. They might win their division, they might not, and if they don't, they're going to end up playing sorry about that, fellas. If they don't, they're going to end up playing they're going to end up playing Tampa or Boston or something, another brutal matchup. And the reason why they had to play Tampa last year is because of they would take nights off against a Buffalo, against an Arizona, against a Montreal. And so I think that's why the fan base, to a certain extent, is like, I'm not going to overinvest. It's just more of the same.
Yeah.
I hear you on the Oilers too.
Yeah, we have bad starts here traditionally, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're down 3 goals, and they go, okay, well now we gotta really play. We got to take this serious. Yeah, I think the biggest problem I have with hockey as a whole right now is that, like, I heard Mitch Marner talking about a meeting he had with the coach, and I was just disgusted. That's arrogant.
That's what they fostered
piece
here,
of shit. These kids run the teams, and the coaches and the general managers and all these, they're scared of them. They're scared of their millionaire little soft. Yeah.
Let's go back. Let's go back to the comment that started that. Sorry, Rob. And I want your opinion on this. I agree with Locke. I'm like, holy shit. Last week, after they lost to Arizona, Sheldon Keefe is in the post game, and he's like, our elite players weren't elite players. Those are just a bunch of guys. Boggs, bunch of guys. Arizona's a bunch of guys. We're a bunch of guys with elite players. Our elite players didn't play elite. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, of course they didn't. They haven't since the start of the season. And it made total sense to me. And I'm 49 years old, so I've heard that plus thousands of times, traditionally, where a player would go, you know what, he's right, I didn't do that. And he would be in a post game. That was like, that to me, because it created like this incredible fucking blowback from really soft Leaf fans, really soft hockey fans, in my mind, that was like, that's too mean. You can't call those guys out like that. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to the NHL this year? Like, what the fuck happened in Toronto? That was the most embarrassing fucking narrative I've heard around this team in years, Robbie. Years.
But I think that might be the environment that they've like cultivated here. Like, do you guys think Torts is going into the room in Philly and apologizing for his comments? Absolutely not. You think Daryl's going into the Flames locker room and apologizing for his comments? Absolutely not. So, like, they've sort of fostered that environment around here. And I think Marner.
It's awful.
Well, and it's also like a PR blunder as well. Just don't say anything. Or just like, look, everybody get in a room and agree, okay, we're obviously going to get asked about this. We're all just going to align and say, yep, we discussed it. It's in the past. We're on to the next game or whatever. But no, Marner he sort of insinuates that like they took Keefe to task over that, which I don't think happened. I think Dubas and Keefe talked about it, and Keefe went in there and started like fanning his comments because the media got a hold of it and ran with it, which he shouldn't have done. He should have just looked and said, yeah, I said what I said. We took the night off and now we're focused on getting a win the next game. And it's just this whole like sensitivity, us against the world. And this is where, this is where people don't get frustrated with them because they have this sort of us against the world mentality. And it's like, you guys haven't won anything. You haven't won anything.
No.
Yes.
No, you usually win enough games to get you into the 7th.
Yes,
the first round of the playoffs.
And that handshake line last
year. So spectacular.
Sheldon Keefe has proved that in the media he's been prone to say a dumb thing or two. Like look at the handshake line comment last year about man, you know what though? Those were some great handshakes at the end. We felt those handshakes. Like that's basically what he said.
I think, but hold it with the Sheldon Keefe thing. Sheldon Keefe has a history of being sarcastic. Like when he was a player, that was a knock. That's why every coach hated him because they'd say, "Hey, Sheldon, go do this." He's like, "That's a stupid idea." He'd say that to his coach. Like he was problematic for coaches. Like it's a funny story when you ask to the Tampa Bay Lightning who drafted him and who had him in their system for a while. They're like, "This guy's fucking insane." He's like he answers every question with like, "Go fuck yourself." It's unbelievable. But I think he's been good. But at the same time, I don't think he said anything wrong. Like everybody's angry. I don't think they said anything wrong. Is it culture or is it these guys?
No,
because I'm with you. Mitch Marner pissed me off more than fucking anybody else when that whole thing happened because he was standing there going, "What happens? You guys don't know. We already dealt with it in the room." I'm like, dealt with what? Dealt with what? Being soft? Being a pussy? Is that what you dealt with?
But that's what I mean, though. It's like I don't think they projected that that's what happened. We don't know if that actually happened, but everyone had a brain fart in the media and was saying comments that sort of built this narrative that the players took Keefe to task. And for me, it's less about what happened and who said what and when, and it's more about how can you guys be so stupid? It's like you go on and on about the media and controlling the narrative in the media, but then you all go out and shoot your mouths off like this. It turns into a big story, and then everyone's like, whoa, hold on a second. We didn't mean to do this. And they just make it worse. Like I said, get in a room, hash it out, come up with some sort of aligned message, and go out there and say your piece, and that's it. And no one would have said anything.
Yeah, I agree. But again, I think it's also a product. Yeah, but I think it's also a product of where we're at with that group. I'm talking about that demographic.
Yep.
They're. I mean,
Gen X.
I was trying to find a way to negotiate the conversation without bringing up terms that everybody hates to hear, right? But it is
Gen X.
They're very offended. Again, even if you meet somebody in that generation, they will tend to admit it.
Let's break it down. What were they offended by? What were they offended by?
They thought
what
they
was
thought
there
they were.
what?
Well, we got
Go ahead.
so we did a episode yesterday, and we talked about the Winnipeg game and what a difference Wayne Simmonds made. And people are calling us essentially Neanderthals for wanting guys like Wayne Simmonds and Kyle Clifford in the lineup. And it's like, on the one hand, if you do like fighting, you're a Neanderthal. If you don't like fighting, you're soft. And the answer is somewhere in the middle. I want Wayne Simmonds in the lineup because right now Wayne Simmonds is making the other team look over their shoulder. So that's a contribution he's making. Whereas Pierre Engvall is contributing absolutely nothing. So I would rather have Simmonds in there, and he's bringing that to if Pierre Engvall was out there and was an offensive force and was scoring goals or whatever, I would say, you know what? Let's leave him in there. He's contributing offensively and Simmonds can sit out. But he's not doing anything. So let's take him out. Let's put a guy like Simmonds or Clifford or something in and have the other team look over their shoulder and say, hey, if I take a run at Austin Matthews here, I'm going to have to pay the piper a little later. But if you have that opinion, you're a Neanderthal.
Yeah. It's back to the culture shit with hockey fans now. Like hockey fans, it's seeped in. Ray Rauth, our sports director, who's got next name of the podcast. He joins us at DPN Ray. We're going to talk about his appearance on the National last night. He went big time. He big dicked us last night. Big dicked is huge. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about football. But Ray's in on the conversation because he's been writing about the Leafs. We're talking about the Sheldon Keefe thing. Is it culture that made that whole thing fucking blew up? Was it the media, or do you think Mitch Marner and a couple of other players got butthurt by the fact that the coach was fucking honest, right? Like the coach basically said, our best players haven't been our best players, which is 100% fucking true. Like to me, that's an easy one. If you're one of the best players and you're getting $11.93 million a year and someone says you didn't have a great game tonight and our best players didn't make a difference tonight. Suck it up.
Princess.
No, Ray?
Yeah.
Where you at?
Yeah.
You get that?
Yeah. They were, I mean, I wrote about this. That was one of the softest things I ever, not just soft that the players got butthurt. And I mean, if you heard the way Marner responded to it, he was definitely offended by Keefe calling him out. The fact that Keefe walked it back is what kind of, I didn't write about what he said because I think a lot of Leaf fans probably agreed with what he said. There was no point of pointing out, but when he walked it back, I said it. The soft teams don't win championships, and that was soft. You expect, and I mean, I'm thinking about this from a football standpoint, but a lot of times when football players get called out, they want to prove that coach wrong, and they want to talk about it out loud. Look at the game I just had. The fact that they pretended that, I didn't even know about it until, or Keefe's like, they didn't even know about it until I said it. Then why'd you walk it back then? Right? Like, why did you walk it back? It's soft. And you can't win with that kind of attitude. Marner and Matthews should have been the most pissed off by their performances and should have said, we've been playing like shit. And we need to, we need to be the ones to step up.
Yeah. It to me, like I said, I think it was just a
Simple.
PR flop all the way around.
Simple, Rob.
Yeah, PR flop all the way around. And to me,
I
just
but
see
you know what it was. I was listening to the fan on the.
It's more than that.
Sorry.
I just see this culture of like us against the world, and like you're so mean to us, but in reality, it's like people are just like you haven't done anything, you haven't won anything. And that's why people are so tired of you and tired of this. It's just like you said, Ray, like just come out publicly and go, we haven't been very good. We took the night off against Arizona. We're focused on the next game. We're focused on getting this turnaround. We know what the goal is. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Like, just say that and everyone will go, okay, great. And forget about it and move on. But we're too busy trying to push back against, I don't know. That's what pisses people off.
Yeah, it pissed me off. It pissed me off watching Sheldon Keefe walk his comments back and watching all the media cats like go, he was too mean. Like Locke he and I talk about sports donkeys all the time. These are fucking sports donkeys that look for anything to write about. And this shit came after game 3. Game 3 came after the fucking third game of the year. There's like 79 more. And they're like, this is like, he's too mean to the players. And the players thought he was too mean to him too. Mm-hmm. And to your point, what has Austin Matthews won other than a scoring title, MVP, Hart Trophy, 60 goals? What has his team won? What has Mitch Marner won? Nothing. And I would even further guess to say Mitch Marner has been a disappointment in 4 out of the 5 playoff runs where they've been booted in the first round. And he's getting upset because a coach said, hey, I'm the coach and this is what I saw. Fuck, are you serious right now?
Well, and you know what's
like, are you serious?
What's kind of funny about that whole thing is the day before the day of the Arizona game, before the game started, I had Griff Borgeron, who does some video content for us here on Ray Sports Rant. And the first thing he said to me was, Sheldon Keefe needs to start holding these guys accountable. That's what he said. He said there needs to be the top stars need to be held accountable. Keefe comes out, holds them accountable. The media goes nuts. The players, are babies about it. And then Sheldon Keefe has to walk it back. How do you coach? How do you attract like a coach to come coach in Toronto when he knows this is what he has to deal with? That not only is he going to be questioned by the media, his stars are going to cry about it so much that he has to go out and basically apologize publicly for just stating what I think everybody in their right mind knew.
So
pretty much.
It would be very interesting to have like a Sutter in Toronto, though.
Oh, you'd never last, dude.
Or Tortorella. That's what I want to see in Toronto. That would be the greatest.
Me too.
Greatest.
I would
think about the
love
boss
content,
with a capital
boys.
B.
Just think
Yeah.
about the content.
Hey,
Oh.
can you imagine Torts
Yeah.
fucking coaching the
So
Leafs?
good.
He's
How'd
such
it
a
go
perfect
today?
fit in Philly, though.
Yes.
I know. Yeah, he's been awesome. I love him. I love guys like that. I can't believe like Pat Burns lasted as long as he did here. I can't believe Pat Quinn lasted as long as he did here. Fucking Mike Babcock got run out of town. Remember when he got run out of town for asking Mitch to grade the players on the team that he thought worked the hardest? Remember that? And everybody's like, "You abused Mitch Marner as a child."
Well,
This place is fucked.
that was a
Toronto's
little
fucked.
ridiculous.
Dude, remember that? Remember it was like 4 years ago. Like, you abused Mitch Marner as a child. He was like 18 when you asked him who the hardest working guys on the team were. And everybody came to Mitch Marner's defense, and they're like, he should have never been put in that position to comment on hardworking players ever.
Bab's coaching career is like over now because of that. Like he's
Because
done.
of this
He's
city.
retired. Yeah.
This is why I'm on Team Lochlin when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I have a great disdain for this team after the first week of this season. It's fucking crazy. It's like these entitled little pricks. We're an entitled city with entitled media that shoves a product down your throat in hopes that they're fucking going to make it. And they've been just chumps for the past like 55 years. Seriously. Like, enough of the fucking entitlement. Enough of all that stuff. It's just crazy for me to watch. It's just, and it's not like I don't want them to win, right? I think everybody, if you're a Leaf fan or if you cheered for the Leafs or if you're in the city where the Leafs are and you're not some podunk weirdo fan of another team just because you liked them when you were a kid, you want to see this team win. But now, because of how they're acting, Robert, I can't get there. I just can't get there with the team. It'd be great for the city. Fuck, it'd be awesome for the city. I mean, we were so excited when the Jays were in the playoffs, and you're thinking, hey, this is going to be a great run. The city's going to be alive. It's just such a nice vibe when you're in a playoff town, right? But like this first week of the season has almost turned me off completely. Not from watching the games, but from wanting good things for them, maybe.
Can we also just talk about the expectations that the Leafs set, right? So the Blue Jays had that collapse 2 Saturdays ago, Thanksgiving weekend. And the trend on Twitter was not Blue Jays. It was not John Schneider. The trend on Twitter was Maple Leafs, because that's all anybody could compare that. Like, the poor Leafs took the brunt of the Blue Jays collapse. That's the expectations that this city has and the media has for this hockey team.
It's
Well,
the
I think I'm
damage
not
they've
alone in
done.
that, right?
I was calling the Blue Jays the Maple Jays on my radio show. That morning we started doing that.
Dude, Rob, am I not right? Like, and you could say the same thing. It's a hometown.
I just casually
city,
threw it
LA.
in.
Yeah. No one said anything. But are you not like looking at this team going, fuck, get over yourselves, you pricks? Like, seriously.
Yes, like in terms of like that what happened last week with Sheldon Keefe and the media aspect of it, absolutely. Yes. But it's the same thing as when they got eliminated last year and they all sit up there and they're like, well, we're fine. We're not making any changes. We're running this back. And it's just this, there seems to be this disconnect between like where they are and what's actually happening. That's what I mean when I say like the getting offended thing. It's like, yes, it's only, and everyone on Twitter who we were talking about earlier, like, oh, it's only game 3. It's like, it's not game 3. This happened all last year too, playing a nothing Arizona team on a Monday night and just going,
Mail it in.
We don't have it tonight. Yeah, we don't have it tonight. And that's what pisses people off. And then when your coach calls you out on it, you're like, oh, finally, perfect. Here we go. Yes, Sheldon, keep doing that. And then he walks it back and you're just like,
yeah,
This
is him walking it back, by the way, Locke. You'll like this. This is absolute pussification of the NHL 101. Watch this.
Are we really at the point where there's such delicate flowers that you have to watch the words that you use?
Are they such delicate flowers that you have to walk this back?
That was such a great question.
I think it's a passionate sport. There's a lot of emotion in it. I don't think we're at that point. I think we should always be cognizant of the words we're using and how we're communicating. At times, emotions maybe gets the best of us in this game or in any competitive environment. You want to communicate well. So it's an important piece as a leader. So you want to be cognizant of every word and you use and body language and all those kind of things. But the nature of the sport Sometimes it doesn't make it so, and sometimes a little extra passion behind your message is really what you're looking for there. So I think that's for me as a leader, or any leader, you got to find that balance.
The fact you had to pull back a little bit from your commentary yesterday, more of a product of today's athlete than it is of what you had to say?
It's probably more a reflection of coaching the Toronto Maple Leafs and dealing with you all than anything, just to make sure that the way that I'm communicating is more clear, because the reaction to the comments was not what I was trying to communicate. So it's more so about managing the media than it is about managing the players.
What do you want?
You get this city sucks balls.
So I gotta listen.
Hang on, I want to go to Rob, and then we'll go to you, Ray. Go ahead, Rob, real quick.
Did you okay? So Dean, you talked about what he was like as a player, what Sheldon Keefe was like as a player, and you watch him in the Amazon documentary, and he's just the biggest potty mouth you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah,
I just don't see. To me, was he told to do that? Like, did someone, and I'm not saying it was Kyle or Shane. Yeah, like, was he taken to task for those comments? So that's what I mean when in terms of like this culture that they've fostered here. No general manager is going up to Daryl Sutter and telling him to walk his comments back. And Daryl Sutter is going out there publicly and walking his comments back. It's not happening.
No.
So that's what I mean when I'm just like, it's like it's this whole culture that
I just killed 37 chickens on my farm.
Yeah.
With an axe. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. You can put up with a comment where I say you didn't have your best game tonight, you little fuck. Ray, you wanted to get in on it? What were you want to say?
Yeah, I just spent the last 6 years before the last 3 months covering Boston sports, and a place where if you're soft, where they chased Kyrie out of the city, a place where, like, I'm trying to imagine Bill Belichick talking bad about a Patriots player and someone asking him a question like that and him walking it back. Like, even Claude Julien, like, you think the Toronto media is bad? Go look at the Boston media where you know, your team is 12-0 and you lose a game and they say fire the coach. Obviously, this team is falling apart, and it's rough and it's tough. And you got to be hard to play in that. Again, Kyrie was soft and got chased from Boston. They got rid of him. He couldn't handle playing in Boston. It's just amazing to me that, yes, Toronto's a pressure cooker, but just to watch them fold like little pussies like this is just, it to me, again, covering Boston for the last 5 years, it makes me laugh so much. And the delicate flower question is the greatest question I ever heard asked.
Perfect.
Like, that was just good on that reporter.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I was shocked that someone asked it, because traditionally they don't let anybody in there, right? Like, both the biggest media outlets in this country, Rogers and Bell, own a third of that team together, along with Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment, which makes up a triumvirate. Really, it's Larry Tenenbaum's company, and then he owns a third of the team with the Leafs. He owns a third of Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment, which owns pretty much everything. And so with two media companies, those media companies will vet people that go in there to ask those questions. And I love the fact someone actually snuck one in there. That's like a Steve Simmons special. Only Steve Simmons is a fucking asshole. But that was like a legitimate question that I hadn't heard in a Leaf scrum in a long time. Usually it's like, papaya, let's all fucking sing Kumbaya and get together and drink out of these little papaya cones and have a nice time together and talk about let's lick the balls of the team. Exactly. Because everybody, to your point, Locke, those are all sports donkeys. Whoever asks that question is not a sports donkey. That's someone's like, what the fuck is going on here?
It happens across the country. It's not, I understand that the Toronto media and the expectations of the Leafs every year just continues to grow because of it's the Leafs, right? But you get a similar situation here in Edmonton. I've talked about this before. I was on another radio station before I was on Cruz, and I mean, we did stuff that we should not have done, and I'm still doing stuff that we shouldn't have done. I remember we taped Jimmy to the back of my Ford F-150 with duct tape, and then had him hold a pumpkin with a GoPro on his head and drive. We got up to 60 clicks and had him drop the pumpkin. And the whole point was just to record a pumpkin smashing from the perspective of a little person duct taped to the back of a truck. Yet if I made a comment about Daryl Cates, they were in there at my door right away. Right? You know what I mean? Like, you can't say that. What are you doing? No.
You're also talking about duct taping a midget to the back of a truck like it's something that everybody does, which is why we're all laughing at you, by the way.
Well,
he said that so casually, like it was the perspective of a little person dropping a pumpkin.
Yeah, I mean that's all we were doing.
No issues with that. But if I made fun of Daryl Cates, they were in there going, whoa, and we had a sports building we had a sports station in the building, right? And you can talk to the other people in that building too. People were scared because it's like a mafia here. As soon as they got wind of any negative press, they would try to suppress it like immediately. And the sports donkeys were worried about their access to the team, and they use that. They play that, right? And I'm telling you, I have a hard time listening to sports radio talk shows because that's I'm always thinking that at the back of their mind, they're worried about their parking pass.
Access. Oh yeah, dude. They're worried about perks, access, parking passes. I remember one time talking about the Blue Jays said they fucking struck out. I mean, this is when I was on sports radio. I'm like, they struck out at the your free agency. It was the year after 2015, so 2016. They let Edwin walk, all that other stuff. And I sewered them. I have never so fast been in someone's office after a show saying, we got a phone call from the organization. You're not allowed to talk like that. I'm like, honestly, I'm not allowed to talk honestly. Is it this? You're like, no. And you won't be going to any games in the playoffs. And I'm like, oh, right on. That's the best. Literally, that's how they treat human beings who are just trying to talk honestly about what they do. So it's no surprise to me that Toronto media, which is, by the way, fucking awful. Like, if you haven't listened to sports radio in this city, has anybody here listened to sports radio in this city? Anybody? Hands up if you listen to sports radio in this city, or you just podcast. You
here and there. Here and there. Here and there. If I'm in my car, yep.
Yeah. Other than Blair and Barker, breaking down a Jays game after a Jays game, it's almost unlistenable. You can't and it's all about trying to figure out a way to fit culture into sports. And that's what this whole thing was. It was like, hey, game 3, we've got ourselves a humdinger of a comment. It was like, and I'm like, no, you don't. You don't have any comment. You've got a coach being honest about his team who sucked ass and lost to the worst team in the league, who is trying to tank yet again, and they play in a high school arena. Like, that's what you got here. So just fucking let's talk about.
They also lost to the Habs, which I think the average age of the team in Montreal is 16.
And another game where it was just start to finish. It's as if they go out before or sit there during the day in the dressing room and are like, not tonight. We don't have it tonight. They've just done it so many times.
You can't lose to the Habs. I'll cheer for the Leafs. Stop losing to the Habs. Come on.
I know.
I think there's more coming.
And meanwhile, while they're out there wrecking sports media, we got a guy here that was on the National last night. Did you see Ray on the National? Did you see Ray make his television debut? Anybody here see Ray make his television debut last night? Ray, how did this come about? Tell us before we play the actual clip of what looks to be you shitting your pants on national television.
I was fine. That was my second interview. They screwed up the first one and lost the file.
Did they really?
Yeah. And it's really weird, right? The 25-minute interview, so I could have 7 seconds of airtime. It's really I like the news. But I honestly, I'm gonna be totally honest. I did a sort of a throwaway blog. I was like, I need to write about something, and I wasn't sure what to write about. Came across the story, wrote about Alphonso Davies and Canada soccer having a bit of a riff. Went to Casino Rama with my dad on Saturday night, came home Sunday morning and had a message asking if I could talk about this. And I said, when? And they said, now. And I said, okay. And I was a little hungover. And then we did it. And they're like, yeah, it's going to be on the National tonight. I was like, the fucking National. Well, no, so sorry. First, when they reached out, I messaged Dean, just, I didn't know what to do. So I messaged him, and he responded epically with LOL. Right. So that was the encouragement I needed to get back to them. And Yeah, and then all of a sudden I found out I was gonna be on the national, and I was like, oh fuck, this is kind of big. This is kind of huge. And I learned last night and this morning how many people in my life watch CBC because
did you get a lot of fullback? Like you get a lot of
I got a message from a staff member from 8 years ago who's like, I didn't even know she still had my phone number to say she saw me. My neighbor texted me last night, like, is this you? Like on the net. So it was it was
you're big time.
It was it was interesting.
I'm Ian Hannah-Mansing.
No, it was with Ian Hannah-Mansing last night, actually. It was with Ian Hannah-Mansing. He's like, and the story's incredible. The story's cool. Because he does talk way too slow. It doesn't sound like
I fuck up my words. I am Ian Hannah-Mansing.
Yeah. Here he is with Ian Hannah-Mansing. The story's interesting. He wrote a piece for DeanBlundell.com. They picked it up and wanted to talk to Ray about it because it was a great piece. Alphonso Davies, I don't know if you know this, he just told Canada to eat shit unless they pay up. You're not selling my jersey unless I get a cut of that jersey, because the Davies jerseys are flying off the shelves, right? Got the World Cup coming up. He carried the team to a World Cup, him and Jonathan David and a couple other guys, but he's like the best soccer player in the history of this country. He's one of the most electric soccer, and they you don't get to just sell his name and make money and not give him anything from it. So Ray wrote a great piece where he agreed. He's like, they can go fuck themselves. And this is Ray talking about it. 25-minute interview in 7 seconds. This is Ray. This is television magic. This is Ray's debut on national
had to
television.
have time to say his name.
With soccer's World Cup just a month away, the off-pitch
I don't think we
battle
really
for
need to
Canadian
watch
play.
this. Canada soccer is now learning the reality of being relevant on the world.
There he is.
Look at that guy. Look at him. Look at him. Huh?
Got the shirt on and everything. Yeah, he's got the shirt on and everything.
So they asked me, I originally went on with just like I had like a black polo on, and they asked me if I had a Davies jersey, and I said yes, and she asked me if I could put it on. That's why then she made me turn around, and like my fucking chair hit my desk like an asshole. That's why I look like an idiot trying to show the back of my shirt.
Well, let's get to it then. This is Ray on the National.
Soccer's World Cup is less than a month away, and for the first time in 36 years, the Canadian men are competing. But players are locked in a battle over money with Soccer Canada, and both sides seem to be digging in. Georgie Smythe has that story.
Alphonso Davies keeps it himself!
He's the star player for Canada Soccer. Alphonso Davies, known to fans as Fonzie, the fast-moving wingback in the number 19 jersey. But that shirt may soon be hard to find. According to a TSN report, his agent says Davies hasn't agreed on a financial deal.
Go fuck yourself. Why they're showing that goal over and over again?
Because it was incredible.
The only goal that game.
No, it's 2. Look, dude, look at it. 2-1. It's a 2-1 game. They won the game 3-1, if I'm not mistaken. Don't shit on soccer. The World Cup is coming up in less than a month.
Hannah-Mansing. I would like Ian to tell us what the score is.
I'm not sure this is fair. Told you I was good at saving.
1 orange? The 21-year-old does have some endorsements, like a partnership with BMO. His agent reportedly says that, as with those commercial relationships, Davies should benefit from the sales of his jersey.
Yeah, I got my Davies jersey on. Yeah, see?
Sports commentator.
Fuck.
I might actually watch the World Cup.
And they showed that fucking shot too. They asked me to turn around. I did it again where I didn't hit the fucking desk like an asshole, and that's the fucking shot they used.
Yeah.
Sports commentators say deals like this are common in the world of soccer.
The biggest stars will have deals in place about using the likeness and royalty deals with the federations. Canada Soccer is now learning the reality of being relevant on the world stage when it comes to football or soccer. And they're also learning what it's like to have a bona fide superstar on their team.
It's not the organization's...
Good quote. Good quote. That's good.
Magic.
You didn't move your head around a lot either. You stayed pretty good in the frame. That's nice. I'm impressed. I'm impressed, Ray. Like, you look like a fucking pro. You're putting
you know what I love?
Ian Hannah-Mansing to shame.
Ian Hannah-Mansing. You know what I love is how at the end of it you had a little laugh like, fuck, I hope this is over soon.
Superstar on their team.
Right here.
Yeah, because he knew he nailed it. He had to have a little smile there because he fucking
yeah.
It is a great quote. It is a great quote.
and they're also learning what it's like to have a bona fide superstar on their team. Do you guys want to know why I smiled there? Because I remember that exact moment. Because I set it up with there's two things. A, whatever I said, and then I didn't say B. I just went right into my second point, and I was really pissed off at myself that I didn't say B. That's why I smiled. I smile at a frustration.
I fucking just motored right to B without saying B. That's that look right there.
That was it.
All right.
That was it. That was the look. So yeah, that's TV.
You nailed it.
TV magic, boys. TV magic.
You look great. Ray made his national television debut last night, gentlemen. It was really really good of you to do it. Are you going to watch some of the World Cup block? You just said you were.
I actually, because I hate soccer, and I actually don't even broadcast any results of soccer really whenever I do the sports. But I think I might have to with Canada getting into the World Cup. I've heard it's a big deal.
I'm also not a huge soccer guy, but it is a big deal.
Okay, thanks, Rob. I'm going to tell everybody that Rob told me it was a big deal. That's why I'm doing it.
Who's also not a huge soccer guy.
Yeah.
Great.
Tell me you don't like Rush too. Tell me you don't like Rush.
Oh, I love Rush. My old man is the biggest Rush fan on earth. Like quintessential Rush fan is my dad.
Oh, really? You can't pick your family. It's okay, Rob.
Ray, you're obviously gonna watch this because you're a huge Bayern fan, big soccer fan. November 21st, I think, is when it starts, right?
Oh, is it really?
I think Canada's first game is the 23rd against Belgium.
23rd, yeah, against Belgium.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough game. They got a tough group.
Yeah, Belgium's good. Belgium's really good. They're a top 10 team, if I'm not mistaken, in the world.
Yeah, they are. No, I'm gonna watch every game of this tournament. This is the greatest tournament in the world, and absolutely love it. And I love it because Davies plays for Bayern. I'm a huge Bayern fan. I've been a Bayern fan my whole life. So the fact that he plays for Bayern and being Canadian, the whole story, it just makes it that much better. And that was my whole point. I made a great point to them that they never used. So I'm going to make it now so other people can hear it.
More people watch this.
Alphonso Davies. I don't know. Nobody ever texts me after I do your show, but that's for the leg comments. That's for the legs.
Yeah.
I'm
Ray skipped leg day his whole life.
I saw you on the Deep Bloodell podcast.
Did I see you on YouTube? Dude, did I see you on Dean's YouTube account? That's incredible.
But no, Alphonso Davies has won the Champions League. He's won the Club World Cup. He was a part of the Bayern team that won the 6 trophies in a season. They're only the second team in history to do that. Barcelona did it in 2008, I believe. He plays for one of the top. He's a starting 11 player in one of the top countries in the world. And Canada's really got to learn, they never had a star anywhere, like Dean, you said it, anywhere close to this.
No.
And he's the only guy for Canada who's going to walk onto that stage and be comfortable because he's played on the biggest stages in the world. He's played in the biggest games for Bayern. He's won the championships with them. And he's the only one who's going to sit there comfortably. And Soccer Canada or Canada Soccer can act like they don't have any money and they're broke. And maybe they are. Maybe they're paying off more sexual abuse cases. So that could be the case. But at the end of the day, do you really want to risk this guy saying, fuck it, I'm not going to Qatar? I got a little bang on my knee and Bayern pays me $1 trillion, so I'm going to stay healthy for them. Because trust me, every club in the world right now would love for their players not to go to the World Cup in the middle of the Champions League run, especially all the big clubs. So you know what, Canada, this is embarrassing. I said on the broadcast last night, but they of course didn't broadcast this. I said, this is embarrassing for the country because every other country who's in the World Cup right now has this deal done in place with their players. That's why it's not a story anywhere.
That's crazy. So CBC took out some propaganda. That's amazing. I can't believe it. CBC took out some anti-Canada.
Can I be honest with you guys too, though? The funniest part of yesterday was when they told me the National. I thought that
Ian Hanemansing.
I thought the National was global. I didn't even know it was CBC. So when they said it was on, I called my dad and told him I was going to be on Global News. And my wife had to yell, no, you're going to be on CBC. I said, but she said the National. She said, yes, it's CBC. I get my news from DeanBlundell.com. I don't watch the news.
Oh, yeah.
Shirts like that.
Or CP24 when I'm sitting in waiting rooms. You know, like
yeah,
it's
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Dude, I thought you did a great job. I was really happy to see you there. But the one thing they didn't do for your 7 seconds, they didn't say Ray Rauth, DeanBlundell.com. I didn't see the Chiron on it.
So
they didn't put anything on it.
They
so
did it
did
on
you tell them where you were coming from?
They asked me to introduce myself.
We hate him.
They asked me to introduce myself, and I said, hello, my name is Ray Rauth, and I'm the director of sports for the Dean Blundell Network and DeanBlundell.com. And on YouTube, they put it up, and they put Ray Rauth, podcaster and sports commentator. They didn't even...
Yeah. That's a typical media poll. Yeah.
So I tried to do something for the network, but they were just like, no, fuck that. We're not promoting that guy.
Dude.
Yeah.
Get ready. I'm going to tell you this, Rob, right now. They're going to come. Someone's going to come to you and ask you some Leaf questions because you got a big fat Leaf podcast that does really well. Talking Buds is the name of the podcast. And at some point, some news organization is going to come. Let's put Rob Furnish on. And you're going to go, great. Rob Furnish from DeanBlundell.com. Talking Buds is the name of the podcast. It'll just be Rob Furnish, Talking Buds, podcaster. They hate me. It's the best. You might want to think twice before.
They won't put the name of his podcast up. They won't even do that, Dean.
They'll just say Rob Furnish, podcaster
and sports commentator. That's my title.
Yeah.
Is that do they do that for everybody?
I don't know. That's what they did to me.
So they like their whole thing is they get butthurt that there's another
podcast
news.
Yeah.
I've never watched the CBC news prior to this, so I'm going to assume I don't know. I didn't even watch any other segment. I literally told my wife to tell me when I was on and came running down when she said you're on. So it's
coming up. No, I'm telling you the truth. Like you guys, it's a black mark having my name associated with your product. It is a black mark.
Very aware
will
that
never do. Yeah, I know you are now.
Many people have warned me. Some blue check marks have approached me and said, "Are you sure you want to be a part of this?" I'm very aware. I had a little bit of a name
Robbie,
before
do you get
I
that
came.
too? Do you get that too?
We're not, honestly, we're on our path to getting it. We haven't got it yet. It's coming though.
It's fun.
I get it.
Wait till you get an email just about how terrible Dean is and that you're going to go to hell just because you associate with him. I can't wait. My subscription for my website is done in like a month, and I'm so happy I won't get these fucking emails anymore from people that just every email I get is about Dean. It's not even about me. It's just about how Dean's a piece of shit and I shouldn't be associating myself with Dean.
I get the same emails.
Do you?
I've definitely had people where like you guys have shared one of our clips or something, and then I've retweeted it, and someone has responded and been like, if you're going to associate with that piece of shit, I'm not going to follow you anymore.
Absolutely. And you know he's not vaxxed and he's just running around praising Jesus. But you know what the best is, Rob? When you write an article and then they screenshot it and use it against Dean as if he wrote it. You know what I mean? And so now I just respond to them. I'm like, I wrote that. Not Dean. We're like, what about this, Dean? I'm like, I wrote that. Read the byline.
It works both ways. Just want you guys to know I've had lots of warnings about all three of you.
And so you should.
Actually. That makes That makes sense.
I found out from the Bills Mafia bar, which we went to, that he got warnings about me before I went up there.
Did they really?
He showed me the messages. He would like, one guy wrote him, he's like, I don't know why you're having Ray Rauth there. Have you seen what he said about Josh Allen? And I was like, what the fuck did I say about Josh Allen? I'm so nice to Josh. And then I found out it's because I was fucking around on #sports and told them that Daniel Jones and Josh Allen were basically the same quarterback. And I forgot all about that. And I rallied up a lot of Bills fans were after me for a while after that. And like, yeah, he got like 2 or 3 messages from guys saying like, I can't believe you're letting Ray Rauth go there after what he said about Josh Allen and Daniel Jones. He was showing me the messages. I was like, tell him I said,
back to the same thing. People are so butthurt. Like that's what I fucking can't get over anymore is how fucking soft the world is. Like I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten from people we work with saying, hey, really happy we just joined the network. And we've got this big project that we're starting and it should be launched in the next couple of weeks. And, you know, it's been a lot easier to sign people, I think, just because I'm not an asshole. But it's amazing how long that asshole tag hangs on for. It's like fucking unbelievable. And I kind of like it because a lot of people will be like, I don't think I want to work with you. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then they see what we do and they're like, okay, I'm having a really hard time making money at what I do. Could you help me out? And I'm like, sure. happy to help you out, but you're on my time now. And they're like,
Well,
yeah, no problem. Sorry, I said
the
all
best-
that nasty shit about you.
The best
When
text
people
I ever
reached
got from
out-
Dean.
Oh, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, so just the best text I ever got from Dean. I think I can share this one. I was talking to a creator who backed out at the last minute. I'm like, oh no, she backed out. First question he asked, was it because of me? Did she Google me? Is that why she backed out? And I said no because she gave me a different reason, but I see she's still creating content, so I'm starting to think it could be because she Googled you. And
Yeah, guaranteed.
that's why we backed out.
Guaranteed.
When people reached out about us,
I
people
tried
reached
to
out
get
about
that-
us. Are they like?
I tried to
Don't
get
associate with those guys. They drink Bush
Rob.
Light. I can't believe you're going to sign those guys to your network when they sit on YouTube and drink Bush Light.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking unbelievable how much Bush Light those guys drink. Lock, you would love Furnish and his brother. They just sit there for the entire podcast, dummy beers and harsh the Leafs. It's maybe the best podcast you've ever seen in your life if you're a beer drinker.
But
Seriously.
we're also good to them when they play well, but we also don't hold back if they stink.
What I really like about you guys
that's
is when you
important.
start getting animated, I call it the Tom Brady voice, right? Like as you get animated, the octaves just keep getting a little bit higher and a little bit higher and a little bit higher. And I noticed the more Bush that you drink, the octaves get a little bit higher and a little bit higher. Like it starts out really podcasty, and by the end, you guys are like, this is bullshit. I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole podcast.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's a great podcast. Rob Furnish from Talking Buds. He joins us, of course. Ray Rauth, our director of sports, made his national television debut last night. You can get his podcast called Who's Got Next and Ray's Rants as well. Look
Ray
for
Sports
everything
Rants.
that Ray has at deanblundell.com. What's that?
Ray Sports Rants.
Whatever, dude. Just call it Ray's Rants. Just take
There
it.
is a Ray's Rants out there, and it's not mine, so it's got to be Ray Sports Rants.
Well, I don't care. Just fucking take it over. Bogey the whole system. Just tell him you're the Ray's Rants guy now.
There we go.
Yeah, that's how it works. Talk to you soon, Ray. Good to see you, buddy.
Later.
And
Nice
that is Robert
lessons.
Furnish, Talking Buds, name of the podcast, at Robert Furnish. Download it. It's a very, very good podcast. We appreciate you jumping in, Rob. Thanks for coming in, Ray, to talk about your television
Good to see
debut.
you,
I'll
Rob.
talk to you guys soon. Really appreciate it. Rob Furnish, Ray
See you, Ray.
Rauth, ladies and gentlemen, our director of sports. Thanks to the boys for jumping in today. Thank you, dude, for coming by, too. Great to see you again. And everything worked pretty well. I mean,
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah.
New studio.
Pretty
new
well.
gear.
We had new. Well, it's not new gear, but it's it worked. The fact that it worked surprised the hell out of me, to be honest. So, and I don't mind this. I got a lot of light behind me, but I'm okay with it. Yeah, so I'm okay with how it looks as well. And I'll clean up
looks
the room
awesome.
for everybody. Put some pictures up.
Yeah.
Some
do it.
pictures up and stuff like that too. Yeah.
Dude, it looks great. Great to see you again, as always. Lochlin Cross, host of The Locker Room, 957cruisefm.ca is where you can find him. Thanks so much for being a
We
part
didn't
of
talk
this.
about Brittany.
Oh, fuck. We should real quick, shouldn't we? Or do you want to save it for tomorrow?
I think we need time because I have lots of thoughts about Brittany. I'm team Brittany.
I am too.
And I want to make sure. Yeah. I think you and
I am
I
too,
should
but
get into this tomorrow.
Yeah,
No?
we will.
Leave
Right
it.
after, no, not now. We'll get off the bat. I'll just put up the tweet that started me thinking maybe we shouldn't be masturbating to these things. That's all.
I'm not
maybe-
against that either. I mean, I don't think you should videotape it and post yourself doing it, but I don't think there should be any shame.
Okay. Well,
I'll
I think
explain.
that-
I'll explain
all right.
tomorrow.
All right, I need to know. She's in trouble. Britney Spears on the schedule for tomorrow. Have a great day. That is Lochlin Cross, at Lochlin Cross on Twitter. 957cruisefm.ca is where you can find him. Thanks, Lock. As he gets ready to go and finish putting things away in his new home, we're going to sign off today. Thank you very much. Thanks to Rob Furnish. Thanks to Ray Rauth. Thank you for joining in. Really appreciate you stopping by. Thanks to Danielle Smith for the fountain of content. Don't stop. Never stop. And I want to say this before I go. The Ivermectin, Danielle Smith vaccine shit, because she's like a QAnon anti-vaxxer hardcore. If she could have been in the convoy, she would have been there. There's a big argument that starts going around about the effectiveness of vaccines, and you got mouth breathers that are like, go get your sixth or get your seventh. Do it. Do it. And don't fight with these guys. Don't fight. Don't fight. Don't Twitter fight with losers that are telling you to go get your fifth vaccine. Just go get it. And when they say, you're stupid for getting it, say thank you very much, congratulations, and then say this, because they hate it: I hope you remain unvaccinated. I hope You remain unvaccinated. You should not get vaccinated. That's what you need to say to these people. Do you know why? 8 times more likely to suffer stroke or death or severe impairment from long COVID. 8 times more likely. 8 times more likely to be hospitalized. 9 times more likely to. So, yeah, we want it for you too. What you want for you, we want for you too. It's a very simple equation, really. I don't have a fight with anybody who is unvaccinated at this point. You don't want to be vaccinated? I don't want you to be vaccinated, especially if you're an asshole. I'd prefer if you're not. In the end, it'll just work better for everybody else. Fact. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com, and I want to thank our friends over at Easy Auto Financial for making this possible. Go to Easy Auto Financial for more details on how you can get free financing. Doesn't matter what your credit rating looks like. Doesn't matter how much money you have. It does not matter what kind of car you want. These guys will take care of all those details and get you the best rate as possible. And here's the other great part. You don't have to pay for financing. That's right. It's free. They figured the whole thing out, and if you want a car, you need to go to them. Trust me, these are the best people in the business here in Canada. It doesn't matter where you are. They will hook everything up, and it doesn't matter what your credit rating looks like either. Go to easyautofinancial.ca for more details today. Also, thanks to our friends at Ed's Fine Imports, his Gitch, we wear them, so should you. GITCH3, that's your promo code, edsfineimports.com. Pump that in. When you check out, you're going to get a free pair of underwear. Free. Luxury branded boxer briefs, pouch in the front, super soft, super comfortable. They're the best in the business. They're Canadian made, support a Canadian company. edsfineimports.com. Gitch3 is your promo code. Free pair of underwear for you. That's what we do. And of course, kivlaw.ca. Kivlaw Defense Lawyers. If you're looking for a great defense attorney, Rob Kivlikin is your guy. Kivlaw.ca. They specialize in getting people out of trouble, whether you did it or not. Doesn't matter to them. They give you every opportunity to keep your freedom, and they marshal you through the process. They do what is best for you. They don't do what you want, but they will do legally what is best for you to keep your freedom and walk you through the process. Take control of your life and call my friends at kivlaw.ca today. Again, Robert at kivlaw.ca. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Bye.